Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're focusing on a deeply tragic and honestly rapidly unfolding series of events out of Nalbari, Assam. What started as a local, horrifying crime has basically exploded into a massive statewide news story. We're talking a fatal police encounter and some really intense political commentary. So our goal today is simple. We're going to strip away all the noise and look directly at the facts just as they've been reported. We'll break down the timeline, examine the official police actions, and look at the political fallout using exactly the information we have right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand where we are now, we have to start at the very beginning. How does a simple walk home turn into a massive, highly controversial police operation? Well, the answer lies in tracking the exact sequence of events, step by step, so we can grasp how this whole situation escalated so terribly and honestly, so quickly.
So, the tragedy actually began in an area called Gangapur, over under Mukul Mua. Picture this. Two cousins were simply walking, just returning to their home. And without any warning whatsoever, their journey was violently interrupted. According to the allegations and police sources, they were brutally attacked by a man identified as Raz Ali. This sudden, completely unprovoked assault in a residential area, well, that's what set off the entire chain of events we're unpacking today. The outcome of this sudden attack was just devastating. We're looking at two incredibly young victims, whose lives were altered forever in an instant. On one hand, we have 19-year-old Madhurja Barman. Tragically, he succumbed to his severe injuries and passed away. On the other hand, his 17-year-old female cousin sustained really serious stab wounds. She survived the immediate attack, thankfully, but was left fighting for her life in critical condition. It's just a deeply sobering reality, to see two young lives disrupted so violently.
Now, to truly understand the immediate shockwaves this sent through the community, it really helps to know a little bit about the victims themselves. Madhurja Barman, he wasn't just some random bystander. He was deeply, deeply involved in his community. He was actually associated with the Paschim Nalbari Regional Students' Union. Locally, he was known as this really promising young guy with a super bright future ahead of him. And when a community loses a young, active student leader in such a sudden and brutal way, the stark contrast between all that vast potential and this terrible loss, it makes the public outcry immediate and incredibly intense.
What's really interesting here, though, is the sheer speed of the law enforcement response. Following the attack, the Assam police absolutely did not hesitate. They tracked down and arrested the main accused, Raz Ali, within literally just hours of the incident. Now, in a lot of cases, manhunts can take days, maybe even weeks, right? But here, the apprehension was incredibly swift. But as we all know from the headlines, getting the suspect into custody was far, far from the end of the story.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because the timeline is wild. We go from hour zero, that's the initial attack on the cousins, to just hours later when Raz Ali is arrested. Then we enter the active investigation phase. The police take him out to recover the weapon. And it is during this highly specific, tiny window of time that an escape is attempted, which leads shortly after to police firing and the death of the accused. The sheer compression of time here, how fast all of this happened, is exactly why this case has drawn so much public scrutiny.
Let's zoom in on that critical window between custody and death. So the crucial point is understanding the official police narrative of the encounter itself. First, investigators take Raz Ali out to physically recover the weapon that was allegedly used in the crime. But while he's supposedly leading officers to the location where this weapon was concealed, Raz Ali reportedly attempts to flee from police custody. In direct response to this sudden escape attempt, police personnel open fire. Raz Ali sustains injuries, he's rushed to the hospital, and subsequently dies. This rapid escalation right here, that is the official record of how a murder investigation turned into a fatal police encounter.
Naturally, an incident of this magnitude, a brutal murder of a student leader, a critically injured teenager, and a subsequent fatal police encounter, it spread like wildfire and sparked massive statewide outrage across Assam. It's like a powder keg. And it also quickly drew some really high-profile political attention. For instance, Nalbari MLA Jayantha Mala Barua actually personally visited the hospital. He went there to check on the 17-year-old girl who was battling for her life, and of course to pay his respects to Madhurja Barman.
Now, while he was at the hospital, the MLA made a statement that immediately shifted the entire public discourse, and this brilliantly illustrates how local tragedies can quickly intersect with much broader political narratives. He expressed concern over what he termed a, and I'm quoting here, disturbing trend of alleged love jihad-related incidents. It is absolutely crucial to highlight that this specific, highly politically charged allegation has now been formally introduced into the framing of the case by an elected official. We're not endorsing the term, but its introduction adds a very heavy layer of political complexity to an environment that is already incredibly tense and grieving.
Okay, stepping back from that heated political framing for a second, let's ground ourselves in where the actual facts stand right now on the ground. First off, Assam police maintain that their investigation is fully active and ongoing. They are asserting that all aspects of this case are being thoroughly examined. On a much more positive note, the 17-year-old girl is actually showing considerable improvement compared to the immediate aftermath. The MLA noted that the necessary blood for her treatment has been successfully arranged and doctors are monitoring her super closely. She is still fighting, for sure, but these latest updates offer a really vital glimmer of hope in a dark situation.
All of this brings us to a really critical question to ponder. How will the intersection of rapid police action and this intense political framing shape the pursuit of justice in Assam? We've got a grieving community mourning a really promising student, a remarkably swift but fatal police encounter, and high-profile political allegations all converging around one single violent event. It is a deeply complex web, and exactly how the authorities untangle it is going to be watched very, very closely. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack the source material today. Keep asking questions, keep looking closely at the facts, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.